Okay, it is April 5th. Today from work I got a few vines. They supposedly grow really well in the shade, so I planted them on this side of the mound where it gets shady really fast. It's shady in the morning, and there's only light right here until about 4 in the afternoon. Then the sun's behind these trees, especially in midsummer. And I planted, you can hardly see them. There's one there, there's one here, there's, boy, I can't even see them because they blend in really well. There's one here, there's still some roots sticking out there. I should probably rebury those a bit better, and then here's a bush that was growing at work that they didn't want anymore. And I decided to plant it at the end of this little Q-tail because I have wood right next to it, and the wood kept getting exposed by the dirt caving off or mice digging into it. So I decided to put this plant here. This bush will help keep the end of it, let's say, fused together so it doesn't expose the wood. It'll keep it moisture in there, and just generally made it a better place, I think. So, and it's a tiny little bush. It doesn't grow very big. I can always trim it. Since I've had visitors coming back through here, I've trimmed off some willow twigs that are just starting to sprout and shoved them in the ground, and hoping some of them will propagate on both sides of this tree that fell down. And especially took some off of this long tall one that's coming up towards the center of my little garden area, and probably planted 100 such twigs. I tried to put them down more than 6 inches a piece. All of that is all the ones with green leaves are something that I shoved in the ground myself. I did that here, hoping that it'll fill up this hole, and I did it back in there, hoping it'll fill up that hole, and I did it back on the other side, about 10 or 15 in a straight line there, and didn't mess around with the stuff in the middle there. There's going to have to be a place for the animals to come through a little bit, so we'll see what happens this year. If it worked, I'm going to try again next year and fill in some gaps. But the point being is I filled in some gaps so that people just can't just walk through these trees as easily. They'd have to go around through the thick stuff. Anyway, we'll see how much of that grows. Good morning. It's actually almost 1 o'clock. I've been here since almost 11 this morning. It was raining a lot this morning, so I kind of took my time getting out here. I started this morning by continuing from where this log comes from the main tree and fell over, and I'm trying to continue a line here with this bush that I've put a few logs here kind of as a wall, and was going to extend it to the new mound, which is over there quite a little ways still. But then I thought better of that. I can always do that anytime in the future, and I'm not going to bury this wall. I was thinking about putting some sticks there to let the weeds grow over the top of it, make it harder for animals and people to walk through there. But thought better of my time, because I can't really dig today. It is pretty muddy. Maybe I'll try again later, but I felt like walking around moving some stuff, and this old dead tree back here has been bothering me for a long time. I had this area back here cleaned up pretty well 2 years ago before the branch broke off that tree and fell down, and so I've been taking parts of that tree and I moved it to that wall that I just showed you. I've cleared out the dead brush from underneath this bush, and I was thinking, what can I do with all this deadfall? Because I don't really want to put little sticks in the fence over there. I decided to build another Hugelkultur mound over here, a continuation of what I started building last year, but quite small. So In other words, not very high. It's not going to be a very high one, maybe about 1.5 feet tall. So this is my little mound here that I built last year. My idea here is to snake it like a little curve towards that white bucket and then back over where I've laid those 2 logs, and maybe then curve it back against the direction where the tree is going. And I'm not going to make it high, like I said. I'm just going to keep it low and put about half a foot or a little bit more than a foot of earth on top of it. Of course, I'll rake up all this stuff around me and put it on top before I bury it. And I have lots and lots of material I've already piled up right here, just clearing out this mess. And it shouldn't take me very long at all to move what's left of that tree over there. I'll just have to leave the big stumps and the big logs to put in that fence that I'm starting to build. If you can even call it a fence, it's not ordered at all, it's just a pile of logs so far. But anyway, that's what I'm doing today. I decided to give you a small preview of what I'm doing before I've made any progress, really. Okay, so one reason I decided to do it here is because this tree fell down and kind of made a natural boundary, and I decided I should get to work on it today because I can dig in the ground any day, even when there are things growing. But in a few weeks, this stuff is impossible to rake up and move because of all the stinging nettles and other plants going up through it. So once the cleavers start growing, it gets really clingy, and stinging nettles get too tall and stingy. So right now, while it's still low, it's an excellent time to clean out any mess that's low on the ground. I can still rake this for another maybe week, and then after that I won't be able to anymore. It'll just be way too high. I'll have to work on my scythe, but yeah, I'm getting a pretty good start on this. It's only been about an hour and a half of work, and I'm not going to build it up too much higher than it already is, but I'm going to pack it down by jumping up and down on it and breaking all the sticks so that they're not sticking up. And I've been doing that on the far end before I put all those leaves and other things. And I've been using my potato fork like a pitchfork just to get big globs of all this stuff at the same time and carry it over there and throw it on the end. And making a huge dent on that dead tree might have most of it cleared out by the end of the day, and I'm feeling pretty good about that because that's been a big mess for 2 years. I've pretty much taken that tree down, all the main branches I can break off other than just a few. I'm almost done. I've drug one big log out here. I'm going to take it over to my makeshift fence area. I'm going to try to hack off a couple extra big limbs if I can, or jump up and down on it and see if I can break it. There's another big piece underneath I can take over to the fence, but if I can't break that up, I'm just going to roll it downhill. But before I roll it downhill, I'm going to clear up all this stuff down below with my potato rake, and I'm going to rake it up and bring all these leaves and stuff over and all the old dead branches. This is really good material down here. It's been composting for 2 years under that tree with all those leaves and all the leaves and the dead stinging nettles and dead cleavers that just fall in here, rotting and rotting. It's really rich material. It's got wood going down about 4 inches, and it's just really, really rich. So I'm going to take a bunch of this over with a potato rake, dump it on top of what I have already dug. Well, not dug, but dragged over there. And I've got a lot done today, really. It's really surprising. I didn't think I'd get this far. I have that area cleaned out pretty well now. I've been raking down the sides, getting all the old twigs, and moving it towards the middle, trying to get my way to this patch that I did this morning. I'm almost there. Got the center to do. There's a lot of stuff on the sides I haven't even thought about bothering. Mostly though, I've almost got the whole dang thing covered, and it's been a lot of work. I've been making trip after trip. I am soaking wet. It's been raining all day long. It's a good day not for shoveling, but a good day for doing this, just because shoveling is worse when it's wet and raining. But I got, looks like the last 6 feet that I haven't covered yet, and the rest of it has been covered with stuff I've carried out with my potato fork. And I've been walking on it, up and down, crunching on it, jumping up and down, making it settle. Only fallen through in one spot, and that's right here. I think I'm going to put another spoonful there, scoopful. I should say forkful, not spoonful. But yeah, I've got it pretty well covered. I'm going to call this a snake mound, because last year's tiny little head makes the head. I should say the tiny mound from last year makes the head, and since it curves back and forth, that's my snake. So this will be the snake mound. Why not? I can name it what I want. It looks like a snake, so that's a good name for it. The snake mound is almost finished. I got about, plus that gap back there to fill in right there, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more scoopfuls, and I'll be done with this today. Well, instead of digging up there like I said I was going to if I had any energy, I started digging here because I could hear some noises, and I thought here would be a place where I'd be able to walk away and not be seen by anybody. But a filmmaker and his dog came by, and he said he's going to make a film of animals in this area, and was quite surprised that I had a garden down here, especially when I told him it's been here for 4 years now, and I guess he'd never seen it. But so anyway, I started digging over here just to stay out of the open, and that way nobody else would really see me. And I only went about that far. It's going pretty fast. I'm going to probably take it another shovel wide eventually, just to cover the top, and I'm going to stop for the day. But I was too eager to see what it would look like when it started getting covered, and so I just had to start digging. So yep, this is what it looks like so far, and here's the snake's head. It's last year's little mound. Looks like I've got an exposed potato there. Should probably kick that down in. Anyway, there you go. I didn't walk it off. I'll measure it real quick here. From the top of the head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 paces long. So 17 paces. Yeah. Did a lot of work, but I'm too wet. I'm pretty tired. I'm gonna call it a day. Yeah. Pretty pleased. This is gonna be a neat little mound. I'll let it rain on it a few days and see how far down this earth gets sunk into the top, and I will have to dig as I said, more on top. So right now that's just the first layer. I'll flatten it and put more on top later. Alright, another day at the mound.